Bonjour à tous, bienvenue dans ce nouvel épisode de la Success Week avec EduCarib. Je m'appelle Gladys et aujourd'hui, nous sommes ensemble pour un nouveau School Talk avec l'école universitaire de médecine vétérinaire de Saint-Nicolas à la Dominique. Nous serons en présence de deux intervenants, Madame Le Roux et Dr Nader Kani, qui nous expliqueront les programmes et nous ferons découvrir cette nouvelle université. À notre audience francophone, aujourd'hui, notre échange sera complètement en anglais. N'ayez pas peur, c'est l'occasion pour vous de pratiquer votre anglais, de poser des questions, peut-être dans le cadre d'une mobilité prochaine. C'est parti, on va switcher en anglais. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this new school talk during the Success Week with EduCarib. Today, we are going to be with the St. Nicholas University School of Veterinary Medicine with Miss Le Roux and Dr. Nader Kani. Please welcome our participants. Hi.
Good day.
Hello, good day.
Thank you so much for being here today. It's a pleasure. I cannot wait to learn about your university. So let's start. Would you like to introduce yourself before we actually start with the questions?
Yes, good day. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity for our university. We're really looking forward to this time with everyone. My name is Dr. Louise Le Roux. I'm a dean at the university.
I'm Dr. Nader Kani. I'm the president of the university. And we have our little rescue dog here who's being a little bit of a trouble this morning. This is Guinness.
Hi.
He's insisting on some attention. I think we've bored him by sitting here for a half an hour, and he just needs some attention right now.
Oh, that's okay. We don't mind. So you can have him on the camera too.
Okay, great.
Okay, perfect. So I think the first question that we have is, can you just present the university? I personally had never heard of it.
Would you like to?
Sure. So that's a very good question, and that's a very good place to start. So we are a fairly new university. So we are a Canadian-owned university, Canadian-owned and operated university. Our first campus is here in Dominica, and at the moment we are offering 3 programs. So we're offering the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, and the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, we have a 5-year program and we have a 4-year program. So there are students who decide right after high school that they want to be a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
And for those guys, we have the 5-year program.
Okay.
There are other students who go to college initially and they do about 2 years or 60 credits. They get an associate degree. And then somewhere down the line, they decide, well, at this point, I want to be a vet. So then they can enter our 4-year Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program.
Okay.
So we have a kind of a philosophy that there was a shortage of veterinarians in the Caribbean. And because of that, animals were suffering for many years. So our number one priority is to provide quality education to our fellow Caribbean students. So although we have a number of applicants from North America, including Canada and US, at this time we have not yet opened admission to them. So we're only accepting applications from Caribbean islands. So after about a year or 2, we might start considering them. But for the moment, most of our students are from Dominica, Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas,
St. Vincent,
St. Lucia. So that has been our priority and focus.
Oh, very nice. Have you received any students from the French or maybe Spanish-speaking Caribbean so far?
Yes, we do. We have a wonderful student. We have Sonia, who's come from Martinique. and
Wow.
she's a wonderful girl. She loves it here. She's really enjoying it, and you know, language is not much of a problem for her because
Okay.
her classmates are always helping her out. And because we are a Canadian school, the students have the option of writing their very, very final exam. So not their class exam, but their very, very final exam in French as well.
That's excellent. Wow. I'm really surprised. My next question is why Dominica? I don't think when we think about universities and student life, probably because Dominica is one of the smallest islands in the Caribbean. How did you guys pick Dominica?
That's another excellent question. So Dominica, as they call it, is also the nature island. So the variety and the species of animals that we have here to study and to show the students and to teach the students is just incredible. So our students are not only going to be very well versed on small animals, farm animals, they're also going to learn hands-on experience about exotic animals. And actually, one of the very first trips that we take the students on is a whale watching trip.
Wow. Oh my God. I would love to do that.
Yes, and they get to scuba dive and see different places on the island. We have beautiful waterfalls. We have a rich, very rich culture, so they get to experience that. So they get little tastes of everything in their first week of university, their orientation week.
Right. And another reason that we should talk about, openly, is the fact that unfortunately, veterinary medicine has been inaccessible to Caribbean students for a very long time because of cost of tuition. So we have about 2 or 3 schools, but their tuitions are so incredibly out of reach for the typical Caribbean students that they have essentially blocked that field to Caribbean students. So
I
one of our philosophies was to make veterinary education accessible, affordable, and bring the best to them here in the Caribbean. And Dominica is one of the safest islands and is one of the most affordable islands. So we have many students from Jamaica or other places that always comment on how quiet and safe this island is and how they left their bag on the bus
Yes.
and it was still there
Yeah.
by the evening when they returned.
So that is something to consider for young students leaving their homes. We have a very low crime rate, so that really is something to look at when parents are sending their young students away. It's something
absolutely.
I'd like to consider. So
Absolutely.
for the nature, it's a beautiful country, safe, friendly people, such a rich culture also with people from different walks of life. And with us being an international school, they also get to have colleagues in the end that are international people for the future.
Well, Dominica as a choice makes sense. Now that I heard all your reasons, it absolutely makes sense. And I think it's beautiful for you guys to say that your mission is to basically make this type of education available to students in the Caribbean. Thank you for that. I just want to go back to the program. So I know you mentioned you have the 5 years program and then you have the 4-year program, right? What are the types of subjects that students have to take in terms of courses when they enter the program?
So that's an excellent question. So let's start with the most basic one. So you have a student from high school who knows from when they were a little kid that they wanted to be a vet, so they come directly to us. And they start what's called the pre-veterinary program.
Okay.
So the pre-veterinary program is like the first 2 years of college where you're taking biology, chemistry, English, language arts, psychology. Then we also put a little touch of veterinary medicine in there. So they get to do veterinary anatomy, veterinary physiology, animal behavior, animal nutrition. And the beauty of that program is by the time they finish the 3 semesters of pre-vet, they actually get a degree, an associate degree as a veterinary technician.
Okay.
So before they proceed to the veterinary school or the veterinary program, which is another 4 years, that first pre-veterinary year actually gives them a degree as well. And let's say a student says, okay, I want to go and work for a year, make some money, and then come back and continue my education. So in that case, they now have a degree and they are able to do that as well.
Amazing. That's perfect.
Once you enter the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program, or if you're entering the 4-year program, then your courses are very specific to veterinary medicine. So you're looking at courses like veterinary anatomy, veterinary physiology, veterinary bacteriology. And then as time goes and semesters go forward, they become more clinical. So then you get veterinary surgical and clinical skills, so courses that are more hands-on. And then finally, your very last year is what we call clinical rotations.
Okay.
And Dr. Le Roux can tell you a little bit more about that.
What the first 7 semesters will be your basic sciences. So from semester 1 through to semester 7, basic sciences, and that will be on island here in Dominique on the campus. Okay. And then for the clinicals, which would be your semester 8, 9, and 10, that they can go to different affiliate hospitals. Now, some of the hospitals are in UK, USA, and Canada. And there's also an option of staying on island and then working in one of these animal hospitals. But you'll be doing clinicals for those 3 semesters. And after that, they'll write a big exam for Canada and USA. So they'll be qualified and licensed there. So that's a big advantage. So, it's not just our little university here giving a degree. The students feel that they're working towards something, and the whole world is their oyster. They can choose whether they would like to practice one day.
Okay. Okay, so I have 2 questions. I'm trying to pick which one I should ask first. But the clinical, would it be the equivalent of an internship, maybe in let's say you're studying modern languages and you have to do an internship? Is it the equivalent?
I think it's quite similar, but I don't think you'll be actually where sometimes with the internship, I think you get paid for it. You get a small salary. In this case,
sometimes
you won't. Yeah, it depends on the place. So for this clinical, you'll work at a hospital. You'll be doing a spay and a neutering and see different things happening. So you'll be working with the things hands-on. But there is no income, and it's actually, of course, you need to pay tuition for that time, because the vets that are training you also get.
Okay, so the clinical is a period of immersion in the professional setting.
Yes, that's a good description.
All right, good. And well, we had shaped the question as internship, so I'm going to switch it a little bit. But I'm guessing that you would assist the students in finding a clinic, whether it's in Dominica or in the States.
Yes, there's definitely lots of contacts in that side. And when they are doing their clinicals, of course, they'll also pick up different contacts and then see where they would like to work and what they would like to specialize, whether they'd like to specialize in farm animals or horses or exotic animals, or go into aquaculture. There's so many different directions. So I think clinicals are going to give them a little taste of everything after they've now been book smart for the 7 semesters of really studying. Although it's not just books, we have practical, we have cadavers of all kinds of different animals here. So when they do anatomy, they are literally dissecting a cadaver of a cat or a dog or pig. So they get to practice all those skills. So it's not just from the books.
Okay, good. And my second question was, I'm guessing the answer because you are a Canadian-owned university.
Yes.
But when the students finish the program with you, so we know for sure they could work in Canada. But let's say, I think it's Sonia from Martinique, you said? When Sonia goes back to Martinique, she should be able to work without any issues, right?
Yes, I think so, because most of the different every country has its own set of rules, whether they will accept the American licensing board that qualification. If they don't, then the student can just write an exam for that specific country. If they wanted to practice in Timbuktu, that country might have just a licensing exam, and then they write that licensing exam. I mean, the animals look the same all over where we go. So it's not like the work is going to change. So our students will be well equipped to be able to handle anything like that. And I see there's a big red question over your board. So are the programs accredited? And yes, that is. We are accredited. If you want any more information, just go onto our website, snu.vet. And there they can go onto, they'll tell you exactly where it's accredited. Then you can go to that program and you can research it yourself on the internet. So you don't feel like you're just taking my word for it. The students can go, or the prospective students can go and do their research if they feel more comfortable. Because of course I understand that question. You don't want to feel like you've spent all this time and money and oh heck, no one even knows about this tiny little university.
Yes, absolutely.
So I absolutely understand that question coming from them.
Yeah, because we felt like it was important to ask that question because I've actually heard about students, Jamaican students who went to study veterinary. I always struggle to pronounce it.
No worries.
Veterinary. Studied in Cuba, and when returning in Jamaica, they were told that the program was not recognized, and they just had to pivot basically and find a different career.
Oh, that must be a horrific experience for anyone, because you put in so much time and blood, sweat and tears, and then to be told something like that. No, my advice would be go onto the website, see we say we were accredited, go and search that board, and then you'll just feel more at ease than just taking someone's word for it, just someone who said, yeah, it is, you know. So
excellent. You have partly answered our next question, but for the audience that came a little bit later, could you just tell us a little bit more about the policy regarding international students? And I just want you to really insist of, so in Guadeloupe and Martinique, for example, we are French, and because of that, would you consider those students as international, or you would still consider them as part of the Caribbean cohort?
Definitely, we will consider them as the Caribbean group, because we would like the Caribbean students to have this opportunity first. Let's say not the only ones, but later on we are going to open for more of the North American students and more international and get broader. But for now, we're concentrating. We started out with Dominican students, and then we're going broader, of course. And another very exciting opportunity that I have to mention is that we have a 75% off scholarship going for Caribbean students. And that is for the application for January. And our application to get everything in is, I think, the 15th of November, but all the information is on the website. So you can apply by the 15th of November for the January semester. And then that would be for the pre-vet or for the vet course. Both of them count the 75% off. So that's very exciting. That's a lot of money. So the only thing the student has to, if you've gotten the 75% of scholarship, then thereafter you have to keep your grades up. You can't be failing, of course. You have to keep your side of the deal is to keep your grades up. And I think a GPA, about 3.4 something. So really you have to keep your grades up, and then you can keep your scholarship right through your studies. So it won't be just for the first year or for the first semester. You could, in theory, keep it for all 7 semesters of your basic sciences. So that's a great opportunity for anyone.
I'll get back to what you said. We actually plan on asking you about the deadlines, the scholarship, but I'm seeing a comment, and I feel like we must ask you now.
Okay.
So Jackie is asking, do you need to pass an entry exam?
No, we don't have an entry exam, but you do have to give us whatever school exams and that kind of information that we have that. So you tell us if maybe you just wrote CSEC, then you can send in those results. Or if you've done CAPE or some other associate's degree, just send us all that information. We don't have an entry exam, no.
Okay, perfect. And you mentioned it briefly, but I just want to make it clear. Could you just give us a range as to when is the admission period?
What happens is we have 3 admission times per year, which is quite exciting because some universities only start in January. So the nice thing is we have a January class, we have a May class, and we have a September class.
Okay.
So 3 times a year you can enroll. So it's basically a continuous thing. You can start in any of those 3 semesters. You can start your course.
That's nice.
Yes, it's nice because I think it has pros and cons, of course, like everything. But the pro is that you are now working towards a goal. So you want to get there as soon as possible. You really don't feel like a 3-month summer break. That's not in your schedule. You need to get there. You know what you want. So for that sort of student, this works. Let's say they start out now January. They have 4 months basically of studies. And then they're going to have a 2-week break, and then you start your next semester. And then September, you start the next. So in 1 year, you can complete 3 semesters. So now you can go and work out. If you need to do 7 semesters, basically you're on the island about 2.5 years, and then you get to go off. So that's how you get to your 4 years a DVM course for the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. So that's how our course is shorter than others, because we don't take the long breaks. And because we have the 3 enrollment semesters. And our first, I think the deadline now was about the 15th of November. Okay. And it's very easy. It's online, the application. You just upload everything. I think there was like a little CV and then a personal statement that gets uploaded. And the rest is literally filling in the blanks. If you have a high school education, you say what high school grades. Everything can be done online. Very easy.
Excellent. So you mentioned the scholarships, right? And I heard something about 75%.
Yes.
So could you just tell us a little bit more about the scholarship? Is it available to everyone? What is it based on? Is it only on grades, needs? How do I apply for this type of scholarship as a student?
Okay. In your personal statement, you'll describe your background and all of that. Yes, it is based on need, but it's based on whether your parents are earning more than $20,000 per year. So it is a really high. So most of the people in the Caribbean do fall underneath that. It's not something that we should feel ashamed of. That's the fact of life. So we should work with what we've got. So
Absolutely.
Put that in there. Say that you come from a single parent household, or both your parents are with you, but we would have to loan a certain amount of money. So all of that means we are all in need. We all need this opportunity. So really don't be shy or ashamed. Just be truthful and say, this is the situation. And then there's a very big chance that we can help as many students as possible, because this is, you can't say that in 2 years' time we'll have the same opportunity again, because then it might be a bigger school and you'll have people coming in from North America and a whole lot of different places. So now is the opportunity to grab onto this. And it's 75% off. And the fees are also online. If you look at that snu.vet,
Okay.
Definitely, if they look underneath finance or something like that, there will be a breakdown. The first fee, I think, was like $1,000 that basically just keeps your space. So that's a first deposit. And then there's a fee for basic sciences, there's a fee for clinicals, and there's a fee for the pre-vets, because that is a college level. It's less cost than the veterinary degree, which is, yeah. So
That's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing
don't
all of this
explain clear
information.
enough. You must please tell me if I'm not clear.
Oh, no. You are being perfect. Thank you. Thank you. My next question is, how do you accommodate foreign students? I'm thinking, okay, I've never been to Dominica. I am accepted to St. Nicolas University. What is the process from the time I arrive to the island, probably finding accommodation? That's what I'm thinking of. How does it work? Do you have dorms?
No, unfortunately, we don't have dorms. Maybe that's something that we would get to in future, but this is a small university, so no, we don't have that. But we do help the students in finding accommodation. And normally, what I've seen with the international students is that they would get a roommate, and together they would get a furnished apartment. And the cost of getting a furnished apartment around here is between 900 EC and 1,500 EC. So if you think of that practically with a friend, that could work out really well if you get a roommate. Yes. And then the cost of living in Dominica isn't too expensive compared to other Caribbean countries. And then also our school has a school shuttle. So in the mornings and in the afternoons, the little bus leaves and it picks up people at certain points in town or outside of town.
Shuttle.
Yes, we have a little shuttle.
That's very nice. Okay, good. Okay, so my question is, in terms of accommodation, should students start looking before they actually come to Dominica, or it's completely fine to figure it out after you come?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
Okay.
I could ask the president that, or the best would be when the student is applying, just ask for the information by sending an email to info@snu.vet, because our secretary or the head of administration, she is amazing. She sorts out all the students. She's on WhatsApp with all of them. Beforehand, she'll organize things like, let's say, what size uniform they would like, or let's get everyone booked on a trip. So she organizes all those kinds of things. Doc has just joined us again.
Hi. Did you say uniforms?
Yes, they have the most beautiful purple scrubs, and they get to wear that every day to university. And in the orientation week, they I know some universities have like a white coat ceremony. I actually forgot to wear mine because I was so hot before before our meeting started. But the students get to wear their uniforms every day, their scrubs. So when they're working with the animals, because the other nice thing, we must talk about the rescue just now. Instead of ceremony, we have a stethoscope ceremony. So in that first week, they get given a stethoscope at a nice evening here or afternoon. We have some little snacks out and champagne, and we celebrate the start of their future. So they each get given a stethoscope by myself and the president. And so it's a beautiful award. If parents are around, they can also come to that. And our outlook is just, anyone can wear a white coat, but it takes skill to be able to use your stethoscope.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's the beginning of their life here with us.
I love this idea.
Yes, I do too. I think it's really nice. And the nice thing about the uniforms is, when they walk around, they represent our university, and it makes them immediately, now you have a whole lot of international students, they immediately feel part of something because of this uniform.
That's great.
Yeah, Doc went to fetch it for us. See how nice that is with
Thank
with
you. Yes,
essence.
that's
Yes,
really nice.
nice. Yes.
And then I guess it's practical as well for the future.
Definitely, yes. What I wanted to bring up is that we are right here. We have the rescue also. I don't know if you've heard of St. Nicholas Animal Rescue.
I
So,
have.
yes, so Dr. Nadakani started that out on the island. And that's another positive thing of studying here. Because we have the rescue animals, the students get to interact all the time, whether it's, okay, let's see the fleas on the dog, because I teach parasitology, so I'm just giving you some things in between. Or let's collect a fecal sample so that we can see whether this animal has worms. Guess what? We have a whole lot of fecal samples outside. Students can go, we collect it, we have the microscopes, and we can identify whether this dog has worms or how we could treat it. So it's very hands-on. So it's not like you'll be face in the books for 7 semesters and then one day get to see a puppy. This is something they get all the time. And Doc, for example, when rescuing all these animals, she has different cases. Like, for example, one who cannot walk, and then they give it physio and some acupuncture. So the students can actually see the whole progress of the treatment. So it's not just a once-off thing. You see the progress, you see them improving, or sometimes sadly not. No problem. Or sometimes, sadly, it doesn't go as well. Oh, Doc's got hands full of puppies. I mean, who can resist that? Look at them.
So this is a typical scene, typical weekend. We have rescues almost every weekend, whether it's puppies or injured animals. And Monday morning, first thing our students do is to get to check on them, see what's going on, learn about every case. So even if they're just starting off, when you compare them to their colleagues in other schools, they're very clinically knowledgeable and ahead of their colleagues in other schools.
Thank you guys. This is so nice. I love seeing the little puppies.
Who can resist those eyes?
I know, right? Can you guys remind me, when did you open in Dominica?
The school opened in January of 2021. So we now have about 38 students.
Okay, so it's fairly recent.
Yes. So we have 30.
How did you guys manage opening during the pandemic?
So that's a good question. There was a lot of contemplation about possibly waiting another year or waiting until things are a little bit, kind of more quiet. But the reality of it is that, every day in the rescue has been open for 3 years now. And every day we can see in the rescue what shortage of veterinarians is doing to the community. So we said, despite the challenges, we'll go ahead and open our doors. We'll just make sure we do things 100% as safe as possible. And so with that, thankfully, we've been able to achieve that goal. We keep our classes very small, so there will not be any class more than 15 students. And not only for the sake of COVID, but that's also part of our philosophy, because we like to give every student their one-on-one attention. So this will not be a university where you're, in a class of 100 students, nobody knows your name and you're lost. So very, very close relationship between the students, the faculty. This is never going to be, a university where there's thousands of students, nobody knows your name, you're just a student number to us. So
excellent. Quality over quantity, right?
Definitely.
Perfect. Hold on. I saw a question in the chat. So you did say that the classes are about 15. Okay, so I think you answered that, but since it's in the comment, I'm still going to ask you. Jackie is asking, do you have a quota for international or Caribbean students per semester?
So that's a good question. Every semester is different. And you have to realize that September is our most competitive semester. So I always recommend students, if you are coming from a weaker background, or if you feel that you need a little bit more one-on-one attention, try to apply for either the January or the May semester. Those classes are smaller. There's less competition for being accepted. So we do reject a lot of applications in September because we want to keep our classes small and we have enough students that kind of are very good students. So I would recommend to students, and so this is my philosophy. I don't think your background or your past really dictates what kind of physician you're going to be. A lot of students may struggle in high school or they may struggle in college, but as soon as they enter a field where they are directly in the environment of what is going to make their dream come true, you really see those students kind of turn around and impress you. So I never say, you're not good enough for veterinary school. I would say maybe not this semester, continue trying and see how it goes.
Perfect. So, talking about backgrounds, for our younger students who may be listening to us, what would be your advice on subjects maybe to focus on before you apply?
Excellent. So if you are entering the 5-year program, again, it's not mandatory, but we recommend that you take some biology and chemistry in high school. It is going to just take away a little bit from that initial shock of being in a professional school when you come and you may have heard some things at least previously. Maybe obviously not to the depth that you're going to learn here, but at least your ears are familiar to it. So it's a recommendation, but it is not mandatory. For students who are entering the 4-year program, now it is required for them to at least take biology and chemistry in college.
Okay. All right.
And then everything else is really, if you have microbiology, if you have biochemistry, those things will help you, but it's not mandatory.
Okay. Do you guys have any sort of mandatory language test for foreigners? I know that some school you would have to take the TOEFL or other English standard tests. Do we need that to apply with you?
So once you apply to us and we review your application, you get an interview. So we're right now doing our interviews as phone interviews. So during a phone interview, if your language skills are to a level where you can keep a conversation and we feel that you'll be comfortable sitting in classes, then we do not require you to write any standardized exams.
Okay, perfect. That's very interesting. I think it could be a concern for many students who do not have English as a first language, but that's good to know. You guys seems very inclusive.
We do. That's
We try.
exactly what we try to do, because exactly that is what has caused the trouble that we see throughout Caribbean with animal care. People being very selective, people isolating a number of students who are passionate about becoming vets. We have students in their 40s who have had professional lives. They've been nurses, they've been veterinary technicians for 20, 30 years. And as soon as the opportunity came up, they have adult kids who are going to university, and they took on the opportunity because this has always been their dream. And it's just all the doors have always been closed to them. So that's exactly why we're here.
That's lovely. You guys are making dreams come true.
Something that I can mention practically, like Sonia, that we mentioned before, the French students. Before lessons, we actually upload the lesson in a PowerPoint or PDF form, and we upload that onto our Class 365 platform. So our students actually get a chance to look at the lesson even before class starts. And she said to me that helps her, because if there's an English word that she doesn't understand, she has time to translate it even before going to classes. So that's another way in which we make sure that the students have notes or they receive it before class even. So in class time, they can ask if there's something they don't understand, or they can just Google Translate whatever they need. So it really is workable.
Perfect, perfect. Seeing that you mentioned the digital platform, I'm guessing that you would have been using it a lot during the pandemic, right? Did you guys have to close at all? Well, yeah, during the peak, I think early this year was still challenging. So how have you guys managed digital learning with your students, seeing that your field is very practical and hands-on?
Right. So that's a very good question. I think there was about a 2.5 week period at the peak of things that we had no option but to do classes online.
Okay.
But we really took that opportunity to set ourselves up. So our campus is very large and we have a lot of open space. So we started organizing some classrooms in the open areas.
Wow.
So yes, we got very creative and we were able to get actually the approval of the Ministry of Health to come back to classes in person within a matter of 2 weeks, because we really do believe on hands-on learning. It's sometimes you're stuck and you have to do online classes, but we do everything we can, and sometimes we get very creative to make sure our students are coming in. Even during those 2.5 weeks, we were bringing classes in for labs. So we would not have the entire school in the building, but we would say, okay, Monday this class is coming in for laboratory, and then Tuesday the other class is coming in. So we definitely always find a way to bring students to the campus in a safe way. And remember, a lot of our students are international students.
Yes.
So we also want to make sure they're okay. So, seeing them in school every day, just asking them, how are you doing? Seeing their faces every day, it really gives you a better impression of how they are, rather than just, this online platform where, you're just seeing heads and you don't know what's going on. So we really care about our students. We really care about their mental health. That's something that we talk about very openly. So all of our students will tell you that, as we say, this is a difficult path. It is okay to get the blues, but we're here to support you and make sure you get through it. So we're very, very open about these things. And especially when students are moving away from their home and family for the first time, we really hold their hands and make sure they get through those tough days.
Yeah. They have our support when they don't have their family and friends close by, and it takes just a short while for them to fit in, and then we all do become a family, and they can ask if there's problems, or even just, I won't say you can give each other a hug nowadays with COVID, but a high five is just as good.
Yeah. And I think the animal therapy also helps a lot,
Yes.
right? I see students sometimes in the back area where the shelter is, and they're like, I was having the worst day. Now I came and played with the puppies. All is better. I'm still okay. So,
Yes, animals are very soothing.
yes.
Perfect. You guys have given us so much information. I think it's great. You seem so inclusive, and you seem to genuinely care about the well-being of your students. I love it. I love it.
And one other thing, I don't know if you spoke when I was not here with Dr. Le Roux, but it's not only that we care about them while they're with us, but very early on, we start to plan for their future. So the students have the ability to do their rotations in quite a bit of different places that final year. So if you want to practice in the Caribbean, we try to set you up with rotations in the Caribbean. If you want to practice in US or UK or Canada, where there's a shortage of veterinarians and they will take you guys up right away as soon as you graduate, then we try to set your rotations up in those places where you can start making connections. And we I don't know if it's been mentioned, but our school is listed by the American Veterinary Medical Association. So your degree is accepted not only in the Caribbean, but also in North America and most parts of Europe. And so what will happen is as soon as you graduate, all you need to do is in whatever country that you want to practice for the rest of your life, you just write a licensing exam. Because your degree is accepted, you can start practicing right away.
Perfect. We briefly touched on it with Dr.
Exactly.
Miss Le Roux, sorry. But thank you, because I think our audience is reacting very well to everything that you said. It's great to know that you can actually do your studies in the Caribbean and then just transfer, I don't know, to the States or Canada or France, because usually it's the opposite. You find that a lot of time you have to go overseas to come back to the Caribbean. But this with you, you can actually study in the Caribbean and then move away if you want to. I had to show you this comment.
Let the puppies wave.
The puppies are winning. Thank you. So I think I've covered most of the questions that I had. Two things before we wrap up. Could you just tell us about what is student life in Dominica? Because again, I don't think that most of us would think, oh, I'm going to study and go to university in Dominica. So from your experience, what is like on the weekend, what can you do as a student or after school? What can you tell us?
That's a good question. Because I would tell you, honestly, I'm a Canadian doctor myself. So I moved here about 4 years ago, and that was right after Hurricane Maria. And everybody kind of has this image of Dominica as still being or recovering from the hurricane. But I will tell you honestly, and I tell the parents when they talk to me on the phone, there is not going to be anything you need or want that you're not going to find in the supermarkets here or in the stores. So I know our French students were like packing their suitcases with all sorts of stuff because they're worried they're not going to find it here. And I said, look, I can even send you a video of the supermarket. You'll find it here. Don't worry about those things. So, it's really, life is modern here. You will have access to, grocery stores. I think most of the student housings we have are only walking distance from major superstores or grocery stores. So we do have a school shuttle. I don't know if Dr. Le Roux mentioned it. So access to school is very easy. Because our classes are so small, the students really form a close connection with each other. And when I talk to them, it's usually, oh, our class went to the beach on the weekend.
Okay.
Or we spent some time. We did some snorkeling on the days that we had off.
There's also lots of hiking trails.
Okay,
So
nice.
people who like to be outdoors. I won't say this is a party scene. So if someone likes clubbing and stuff, they might miss out. So they can just wait 4 years and then they can do it as much as they want to. But the rest, there's everything. There's barbecues. You can go at night and get some lovely barbecue. And people are just so amazing and friendly that I'm sure you'll be invited over to someone's house for something interesting over a weekend. So there's never a dull moment.
That perfect. It sounds nice, and I've been to Dominica once. I mean, it was a short trip, but I really enjoyed the nature, the rivers, the beach. I thought that there was a lot to do, even though the island seems small.
Yes, definitely.
Dr. Nader, you mentioned something. You said when parents call you.
Yes.
So you guys are in touch with parents and open to communicating with parents.
Very much so. When I say we're a family, I am not just saying that. Parents are on the phone with us. They have the school number. They all have my WhatsApp number. So, like I said, we're a small community. We're very close. No question. And I always tell my students, there's no such thing as a silly question. So if you have a question in mind, probably there are 4 other people sitting in the same room with the same question. So always ask your questions. And I can tell you, most of our international students, their parents either have my personal phone number or Casey's phone number. So we're in contact. This is where, like I said, very small group, very friendly environment.
Thank you for that. And I really appreciate you saying that there are no silly questions. I think it's just a human thing. We tend to feel shy when we are in doubt. So really, thank you for sharing that. Perfect. Let me check if I have any other. Well, I have one more question that we ask all the schools, but I feel like you have covered that question for those 52 minutes that we've been together. But if your student had to ask you why choose St. Nicholas University, what would you say? I mean, we mean why you as opposed to maybe a different university.
Right. I think the key and the philosophy behind our school is that you are going to get everything that the big schools are offering you and then more. So we offer quality education, right? We have very good international professors that we invite here just to teach our students. So there's no doubt in the quality of education you're going to get. Because the classes are small, you're going to get the hands-on experience and the confidence as a new graduate that you may not get with some of those bigger schools. So if you're in a class of 150, you might have only done a space surgery once before you graduate. But we have our 3rd semester students right now doing a spay clinic at the end of this month. So you will have that confidence that I have done a lot of these procedures. Because we forget, not all medical doctors are surgeons, but every veterinarian is a surgeon. So the part of the confidence with graduation is knowing I know what I'm doing and I feel comfortable with it. So I think we send our students out with that mentality. And then the other thing is, while you are going through these 4 years or 5 years, it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of studying to do, but at the same time, you're doing it in a very friendly environment where your classmates are not your competition, but you're looking at them as your colleagues.
Yes.
And you're going to be able to depend on them, not only during veterinary school, but also when you graduate and you get into the field. So I think we've really cut down on some of the stressors that are automatic part of this path or education path. We have a very small, friendly environment. You get more hands-on experience than you would in any other Caribbean school, guaranteed. And you will be a good vet. That's our promise to you. We will not let you graduate otherwise.
And I think we should be honest and say the cost is also a big thing. I mean, for the students, this is going to be a lot more affordable for Caribbean students. Even if we not even thinking of that great scholarship opportunity for now, it's still a lot less expensive than some of the American or European universities for veterinary studies. It's just not affordable for everyone. And I think this is affordable.
Perfect. Well, let me tell you, I am convinced and I would choose you.
Anytime.
I'll make sure to stop by. I'm actually from Guadeloupe, so it's very close.
Send me some nice cheese.
Absolutely. I'm seeing an interesting question in the comment. So Jade is asking, if vaccination is mandatory to attend your university?
So we give students 2 options. We give students the option to be fully vaccinated to attend classes, or they have to get an antigen test done every 2 weeks.
2 weeks, all
Yes.
right.
And we provide that for you free of charge. So most of our students are vaccinated. Those who are not basically get on a bus, They go through a drive-through antigen test, and it's as simple as that. So
Great.
don't make it a hassle. We still want to give students the freedom of choice to do what they prefer. So, and we like to keep the school and everybody safe. So it's a convenient way. If you're vaccinated, excellent. If you're not, we have a convenient way for the or getting your antigen test done every 2 weeks.
And of course, we wear masks and sit far apart. This is the closest we've been together, just for the camera now. But otherwise, we keep our distance and wear masks and sanitize and do everything possible to protect ourselves and each other.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And of course, to our audience, you guys should also remember that you could always check the website of the Dominican government to check what are the regulations, what is mandatory or not before you actually decide to come into the country or attend the university. But I think you guys have a great system giving the option to get the antigen test free of cost. That's amazing. I mean, the COVID tests are starting to be, you have to pay for them in a lot of places. So that's great. I'm going to check the comments to see if we have any more questions. Let me see. Oh, so Jackie said the food. Are you guys enjoying the food in Dominica?
Definitely.
I enjoy it.
Food is amazing here on the island. Obviously, you get, especially right now around Creole time, you get all the wonderful special food. As for the school, we do have a canteen on campus.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's always fresh food for lunchtime. We keep it very affordable, so students can always have something to eat during their lunchtime. And then during events like Creole Day, we had some special Creole dishes. So we try to keep our culture obviously part of our program.
That's very nice. That's lovely. I know that Creole Day is a big event in Dominica.
Yes.
I saw actually, yes, was it yesterday or the day before that it was Independence Day?
Yes. Yesterday was Independence, so we had public holiday yesterday and today.
Wow, that's nice. How was that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And actually, like, although we do have a uniform, that's the one day we let our students come in their traditional clothes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so they really enjoyed that, going back to your
Right.
roots, heritage.
Even some of the dogs had some beautiful sashes around them.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I'm just going to wait if we get any more questions. But I think you have been very thorough and detailed in your answers. And to me, your university and the programs, the team seem very, very lovely. I think any students that come will have a great experience. And someone said it in the comment. They said, thank you for taking into consideration the mental health of the students. And I think that's amazing, especially in, with the pandemic and everything tends to be a little bit harder. So I was very, very pleased when you mentioned it openly.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to wait. Let's see if we get any more questions. Oh, yes, I know. In terms of curriculars activities for prospective students, is it something that you take into consideration, or what advice would you give them?
So that's very important. So the reality is, veterinary school is difficult, and we encourage the students to have a life outside of veterinary medicine. So, and it can be as simple as going to the gym. It can be as simple as going to the beach on the weekends. So we have our students they're usually in their own groups. They decide on different activities. But
Okay.
usually we check on them to make sure they are doing something outside of school. Because that's also very important for kind of keeping your head clear, for stress release, all of that. So it can be as simple as going to the gym for some students. It could be as simple as going fishing, going to the beach, nature hikes and all that. So it is, everybody has different preferences. Some people do their arts. We have a student who writes poems. So, and the other day he said he rescued an animal who was badly abused. And he said, I put this poem together for this dog. So, I think it's lovely. Everybody has their own way of what they enjoy on the side, and we definitely encourage them to continue to do that. So if you enjoy painting, we want to make sure you continue to do that while you're in school as well. So
Perfect. Thank you. I'm seeing a question from Jade. She saying, what is a calendar in the week of a student approximately? I'm guessing that she's asking how the timetable of a student, an average timetable would look during the week.
that's a good question. So every semester is 4 months. And every semester you're taking 5 courses. So you will have either a course on Monday, Wednesday, or you will have it on Tuesday, Thursday. And then Friday is for the one small 2-credit course. So you come to school, class starts at 8. So you have your first class, 8 to 11.
Okay.
And then 11 to 12 is lunchtime.
Okay.
And then 1 to 3, you have your afternoon class.
All
So
right.
that's your 12 to 3. Right. So every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you start at 8. Lunchtime is 11 to 12, and then 12 to 3 is your afternoon class. Friday, you only have a class in the morning. So you only have class 8 to 11. And then in the afternoon, on Fridays, the entire school gets together and we do clinical activities. So Dr. Rick, who's one of our American veterinarians, usually brings an animal, an example animal, and then he will basically go through some clinical teaching on Friday afternoon. And we make some barbecue on Fridays. So it's basically Friday afternoons are barbecue and some clinical teaching, only morning classes. But the other days of the week, Monday to Thursday, it is 8 to 3 with a 1-hour lunch break.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm just going to wait a few seconds to see if we have any more questions. And if not, I guess we are going to wrap up. So let's see. I'm gonna wait, see if I missed anything in the comment. Well, this one is in French, but it's saying very interesting. Congratulations, EduCarib. We've had Louise saying bonjour earlier today. So hi, Louise. Hi, Brandon. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for your comments. And as well, please remember to check the website. Can you guys remind us the website?
It's very easy, just snu.vet. Yeah, for St. Nicholas University. So SNU.
Okay, perfect. You guys, please feel free to check the website. You should be able to find all the information related to tuition, the programs, everything you need to apply. So I think we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being here today. It was really a pleasure. I loved learning about the university. You seem to have a very well-balanced program between school, academics, and as well as just enjoying life and enjoying Dominica. So your students are very lucky.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for being here. I'm just going to say a few words in French for our French-speaking audience. Merci à tous d'être venus aujourd'hui, d'avoir participé, que ça soit en visionnant ou dans les commentaires. Je tiens juste à vous rappeler que nous sommes en diffusion sur Facebook, LinkedIn et YouTube. Vous pourrez donc regarder, partager le live avec votre famille, vos amis, toutes ces personnes qui pourraient être intéressées. N'hésitez vraiment pas à partager le live. Merci encore d'avoir été avec nous aujourd'hui. Bye bye.
Bye, au revoir.
See you soon.
Bye bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.